Hey everyone, my name is Craig. This is my very first YouTube video that I'm filming. Really the main reason that I wanted to start a YouTube video or a series is to document the raw and unfiltered start to finish journey for what it means to plan and eventually execute a attainable and doable backpacking trip for just the average person living in a big city, for example. Maybe you don't have access to crazy resources, crazy terrain. You don't live in the mountains. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I grew up in New Jersey and lived in Charlotte, North Carolina for a little bit. I was fortunate enough to have access to outdoors, but living here in Dallas, I've realized not everyone has access to the outdoors, and planning and then executing a trip for the first time, or even for your 10th time, can be pretty overwhelming or daunting. And I often feel that for myself, and I've been camping pretty regularly for about 5 to 6 years now. And I think there's a lot that's behind the scenes that you may not see on YouTube. So more or less, I'm putting other YouTube channels on notice just to kind of really highlight the ups and downs, the second guessing, the doubts that someone might face, maybe some of the overthinking that someone might have or experience along the way. Because it does take a lot of confidence to go out, plan, and then execute a pretty epic adventure. And that's ultimately what I like to do in my free time. And as a working professional in Dallas, it's not always easy to do that. Sometimes you're just exhausted and you don't have the motivation to plan and execute. So I wanted to show all the ins and outs that may occur with a backpacking trip, and the planning especially, and then the execution. So I'll kind of explain a couple of the key things that I wanted to accomplish with this series, and kind of how I will execute all of that, and what I want to sort of and what I want the outcome to be in the long run. So, like I said, a big part of my reason why for doing this is you see a lot of like gear reviews, you see a lot of trips, you see a lot of people out there experiencing nature, and I think there's a lot of, it goes silent when you try to find the day-to-day, the week-to-week planning if you're trying to go on an epic adventure that's actually attainable 4 months in the future, let's just say. So what I'll do is today it will be like day one, for example, and I will take you along what it's like to actually plan and then execute a trip. So like right now I'm a clean slate. I just got done coming back from a camping trip, and I'm eager to go on my next one, but I have no real definitive plan or concept as to what I would want to do. So I think there's a lot of value in showing whether it's a trip to the grocery store to kind of test out what food they might have that's good for backpacking, how much research goes into planning. If you own the gear, the decision-making process behind what gear to take. Every trip is different, every weather pattern will be different, every location's different. So I think there's a lot of value that can be had in walking through that entire process. So the format that I would like to present the series in is maybe a weekly, potentially a string of few days in a row, but really it's going to be unfiltered, non-architected content. So like as I go through my thought process, like day to day, week to week, and then eventually leading up to the trip, I will try to document that as best as I can. Again, I'm new to YouTube, so it's not something I'm super familiar with. So I hope that raw format actually provides a lot of value to anyone who's out there listening or watching. My end goal is to go on a pretty like cool adventure. So whether that's just like a car camping experience just for a few days, but I want the stakes to be kind of high. So for example, I've been tossing around the idea of going to the Smoky Mountains, doing a backpacking trip there through whether it's like 8 days sometime this fall. So maybe the trip is coming up, or whether that's in New Jersey. So what I'll do is I'll take you along the decision-making process. Like I said, today will be sort of like day one Tomorrow I might have more information and I might film and share that with everyone. But for right now, like, what is that process like to go from absolute, like, just pure tossing around ideas to actually going on the trip and then accomplishing it? And I'm not even suggesting that the trip would be accomplished successfully. And ultimately, my end goal is to give you guys something rewarding to watch and a kind of experience along with me. So hopefully it's a rewarding process that we can kind of go along that journey together. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of go through this. I'm learning as I go. I've got my setup here. Spent some time researching and just making sure that the content's at least palatable to watch and that's enjoyable for everyone. So I appreciate it. Stay tuned for more information, more content, more videos. Just trying to, off the cuff, maybe I'll just start filming and share my ideas and everything. So hopefully this is more of like a day-to-day, week-to-week kind of update so you guys can follow along the actual journey instead of just seeing the end, like, curated view or picture of what that journey looked like. So this is, again, I'll restate, it's like day one. Tomorrow I might have more information, I might not, but I think that's a part of the fun process about all this stuff that not everyone gets to see online. So thank you again. My name is Craig, and stay tuned for more updates.